Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome to. I'm not even going to start this over. Welcome to Non Sequitur News for June 16th, 2025. It's Season 4, Episode 167. I am MayorWatt, and I run ohmTown.com. And along with the Sentient AI, who unfortunately isn't available at the moment, they have to do other things in the timeline. Well, anyway, we're going to talk about live from the 80s, a black Iceberg Cometh, one Purrito truck at a time, mini tornado traps, Myrtle Beach disc golf Hammerhead, signals from the ice, RPGamer Round Up, climate change and cheese, Optis ruling wiped out, and your electricity bill is going up. Up, 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 up. That and more, powered by ohmTown.com, and I gotta reach for it there. Just gonna say living the dream. All right. So today is a time machine episode. I'm gonna try and go through June 16th and June 17th pretty quick. Try to save you some time. Because you can make more of everything, but you can't get time back. So I appreciate you spending your time listening to this podcast, listening to the live stream, the VOD on Twitch or over on YouTube, or wherever else you are picking it up, because we kind of broadbanded everywhere we know about. We're not on Kick though. We don't do Kick. I don't know. Anyway, let's get into it. The first article is over in the Continuity Report, which is one of our shows on the weekend, Saturday, as a matter of fact. It's the third show on Saturday. It also becomes the Saturday edition, part of the Saturday edition of Non Sequitur News. Anyway, 10 live performances from the 1980s that are still relevant today. ScreenRant.com put the article together. This is Queen, a picture here. Queen. Paul Elliott put the article together over at ScreenRant. And they go through this list, live performances so unforgettable that they resonate decades later. Willie Nelson, Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain in 1986 from Farm Aid 2. Whitney Houston, Saving All My Love for You, 1985. It says live on Wogan. Okay. Lionel Richie and Diana Ross, Endless Love, 1982, 54th Academy Awards. 1983's YouTube October/New Year's Day live from Red Rocks. I think I remember all of these. Elton John, Saturday Nights All Right for Fighting. Central Park, New York City. Number 5 on this list is Madonna's Like a Virgin from MTV Video Music Awards, 1984. Luther Vandross, Never Too Much, 1989, live in concert, Wembley Stadium. Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror, 1988, the 30th Annual Grammy Awards. Ray Charles, George on My Mind from 1980, the North Sea Jazz Festival. And number 1 is Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, 1985, Live Aid from Wembley Stadium. Quite fascinating Live Aid and Farm Aid and the various other, how do I put it? Socially aware programming. I think that this shows a compassionate, thoughtful, caring, I don't know, a community of people that are helping more than themselves while being entertained. I think it's really fascinating that I don't remember. When was the last one? I'm really curious. When was there a thing like Farm Aid 2 or Farm Aid or Live Aid or any other of these large scale promotional kind of benefit type concerts? I'm really curious. This large scale with these types of musicians, I just don't know. Leave it in comments over on YouTube. Twitch doesn't have comments other than in the chat. And I didn't put the show notes in the chat So, or in the in ohmTown. I guess I could do it right now. Let me do it right now. Might as well. Hold on 1 second, folks. I think I've got them sitting in my cache. Nope. No, I do not. Well, let me grab them real quick. I can do that. So yeah, when was the last time there was a Live Aid? I'd have to look. I didn't look before the show. I normally don't anyway, so it's really, I'd love to hear from people. Let me know what they have found. But again, just like leave it in the chat over on YouTube, or in the comments section over on YouTube. So this is for the 16th, right? Yeah. All right, there you go. So if you want the show notes now for the 16th, you can hit !, Non Sequitur News, or NSN, and ohmTown will spit them out in the order, hopefully. Yeah, my system, there's some weird interactions that are going on between Stream Deck and OBS and StreamerBot. And so like ohmTown doesn't even know that it exists right now. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll have to fix that as well. Let me restart it. Okay. Let's keep going though. The next article is over in Mobile. That ominous black iceberg probably isn't a sign from the aliens. If you're a fan of ancient Lovecraftian horrors residing in the coldest, darkest regions of the world, then you're going to love the mysterious black iceberg. Found off the frigid coast of Newfoundland, a massive obsidian iceberg has emerged from the depths, ready to fill your mind with cosmic horror. As reported by the CBC, the iceberg was photographed back in May by fisherman Huller Antoniansen. It was spotted about 100 miles offshore, and it's not your average floating frozen cube. Antoniansen, a man with half a century of navigating around icebergs, said the thing was roughly 3 times the size of, I guess, your average iceberg. Look at that thing. Louis Prada over at Vice.com put the article together. Yeah, it's a chunky boy. And let's see, 3 times the size of its bluish white piers and shaped almost like a diamond. Like a diamond. So they told the CBC that he'd seen plenty of icebergs with rocks in them, giving them the occasional dark hue, but never seen one as deeply, richly, completely black as this one. Deeply, richly, completely. Faster, stronger, better. I do not know what's going on with ohmTown. Sorry, folks. So experts don't have a definitive answer as to what this black diamond iceberg could be. Some legitimate theories are floating around. Eruptions. Basically, it's an icy dust ball, and it broke free of whatever it was pinned to, and now it's floating around. So again, not much is definitively known about the thing, but I'm hoping that Cthulhu is coming. Welcome, Deep One. Let's see if ohmTown's awake. So ! NSN. And yeah, hold on a second. Okay, let's go. The next article is solving big problems one burrito truck at a time when trying to reach a complex subject. Sometimes the best strategy is to wrap it in something familiar like a burrito. Christine Fennessy, Lehigh University, put this article together. And Robert Egan and Andrew Zenin put the article together. Well, they edited it and reviewed it. So an ideal candidate for such an approach, a burrito truck. Mathematical optimization, which uses math and computing tools to make up decisions about complicated systems. It has the power to help a range of people, from professionals in data science, engineers, and businesses, to individuals looking for a better route to work. But to the uninitiated, its promise can be a hard sell. Quote, I think that people who know a little bit about optimization think that they have, think it's trivially easy or it's impossibly hard, says Larry Snyder, Lehigh University's department deputy provost for faculty affairs and a professor in the Department of Industrial and Systems Engineering. What they don't realize is that there are theory and software available that can help solve really hard, really complicated problems. So enter the Purrito optimization game, which recently surpassed 50,000 plays by users around the world. In 2022, Snyder collaborated with Gurobi Optimization, a company that develops mathematical optimization software, to create a free web-based learning tool that would make the concept of optimization more approachable to more people. What's really interesting about this is some 30 years ago, I wanted to integrate this kind of a thing in SimCity, where people would be able to direct traffic basically by owning and operating a business where they had to deliver goods throughout a city or a region. I thought that it would be really cool. Well, the game's championship mode allows users to compete against each other, a feature that's well suited for both classrooms and, says Snyder, academic conferences. So they said that their kid played it when they were 10 years old, so it's easy to start the game without knowing anything about optimization. What we wanted was people to have a sense of why these problems are hard to solve by hand and to realize that there are algorithms that can solve them for you. I guess it depends on what the objective is. There's a lot of articles. Okay, well, anyway, this is over at phys.org. Go and check it out. The next article is over at Non Sequitur News. Flamingos used mini tornado traps to catch their next meal. The study found that long-legged birds create mini tornadoes while eating upside down. Flamingos do it by chomping their mandibles, bobbing their head up and down, and marching back and forth to push water into their mouth. The bird is able to pick out its prey in the swirling vortices, even if the water is muddy or dirty. Georgia Tech researchers partnered on the project with the University of California, Berkeley, Kennesaw State, and Nashville Zoo. They basically said that flamingos are more than passive feeders. They're active in capturing their prey. Georgia Tech put the article together. It's over at futurity.org. So they make these little vortexes by moving their beak. And while they're kind of upside down, it's because their beak is bent, and so that when they bend over a little bit to get their food, they create little vortices, which is what happens if you basically if you clap your hands underwater and move them apart, it pulls water into the void and it causes swirls, little mini water tornadoes, but underneath. But it's fluid dynamics, so it seems kind of obvious to me, but all right. And there's a video over at this futurity.org site, so go and check it out. The next article is kind of a weird one. Hammerhead shark literally fell out of the sky on Myrtle Beach disc golfers. Casual morning round of golf turned into something out of a fever dream when a baby hammerhead shark fell from the sky and landed near hole 11 at Splinter City disc golf course in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Jonathan Marlowe, 44, was playing with 3 friends when they spotted an osprey overhead carrying something in its talons. It's not uncommon to see an osprey carrying something, but you take note because it's really cool to see. But then things got interesting. 2 crows swooped in and began harassing the bird, forcing it to drop its capture. It turned out to be a little mini hammerhead shark. The group expected to find a fish in the trees. What they actually found was a 1-foot-long baby hammerhead shark. They said that they'd never seen one in real life, and here's a baby one on the ground that literally fell out of the sky. But this is kind of clickbaity. Ashley Fike. Hammerhead shark literally fell out of the sky on Myrtle Beach disc golfers. No, it didn't literally fall out of the sky. It was dropped by a freaking bird. All right, let's keep moving. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Scientists discover bizarre signals coming from ice in Antarctica. Using a cosmic particle detector, researchers at the University of Pennsylvania detected peculiar sounds. Maybe it's that black iceberg. According to a press release, defy the current understanding of particle physics. The particle detector that found those strange signals, which is charmingly suspended from a bunch of balloons, belongs to a range of instruments known as the Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna, or ANITA. The balloon-based conglomerate generally detects particles reflected into the ground from space, which made it all the stranger when the Penn State researchers found that the signals were coming seemingly from the ground. Quote, "We still don't have an explanation," or "we still don't actually have an explanation." Well, no shit. If you don't have... Anyway, Noor Al-Sabai put the article together over at futurism.com. This is the gadget. Kind of fascinating. The balloon-based conglomerate generally detects particles reflected into the onto the ground from space. I don't know why they say reflected, but okay. According to Stephanie Wiesel, an associate professor of physics and astronomy at Penn State, who also worked on the ANITA team that detected those strange Antarctic pulses, the researchers had been looking for tiny electric charge-lacking neutrino particles when they stumbled upon the bizarre waves. The radio waves that we detected were at really steep angles, Wiesel said in the press release, like 30 degrees below the surface of the ice. So the particulars of the particle findings were detailed in a new paper published in the journal Physical Review Letters. The researchers were more candid in the press release about how stumped they were. Quote, "We still don't actually have an explanation for what those anomalies are, but we do know that they're most likely not representing neutrinos. The issue with neutrinos, which are bountiful in the universe but generally emitted by super high energy sources like supernova or particle accelerators, is that we don't have many instruments sensitive enough to detect them, which is why the ANITA team was on the hunt for them in the first place." Yeah. I still think that there are signals that are permeating the universe that we just don't have a means of detecting. What a weird shadow on my shirt. Anyway, let's keep going. The next article is over in Tabletop Nights, which is a tabletop gaming show that I would love to put on, but I just can't be everywhere. And if you are interested in being a host or co-host, send an email to mayor@ohmTown.com. That said, welcome to the latest edition of RPGamer's Round Up column. I won't go through all of this, but I encourage you to go over to rpgamer.com. The article was put together by a series of their editors. Alex Fuller put this roundup together, and so they have a bunch of editorial content, major news like the Outer Worlds 2 launching in October, and Game Freak announces Beast of Reincarnation, all the way down to other quote-unquote other news like online co-op, action, RPG, Forever announced, and Class of Heroes 3 launching in September, Solasta 2 switching to 2024 Dungeons & Dragons rule set, and so on. They have just a bunch, video releases, podcasts, and so on. It's pretty neat. That said, we're going to move on to the next article, which is over in Non Sequitur News. Climate change is ruining cheese, according to scientists and farmers. In interviews with Science News, veterinary researchers and dairy farmers both warned that changes to the climate that affect cows are impacting not only the nutritional value of the cheeses produced from their milk, but also the color, texture, and even taste. Researchers from the Université Clermont-Auvergne, Auvergne, which is located in the mountainous central France region that produces a delicious firm cheese known as Cantal, explained in a new paper for the Journal of Dairy Science that grass shortages caused by climate changes can greatly affect how cows' milk and subsequent cheese is made, and the quality therein. Well, naturally, it says we'll feel it in our cheese, so the bite and flavor and consistency of your cheeses are going to change depending on climate, because we are a product of our climate. At regular intervals throughout the 5-month testing period in 2021, and the scientists sampled milk from 2 cows of groups, each containing 20 cows from 2 different breeds that are either allowed to graze on grass like normal or only graze part-time while being fed a supplemental diet that featured corn and other concentrated foods. As the researchers found, the corn-fed cohort consistently produced the same amount of milk and less methane than their grass-fed counterparts, but the taste of the resulting milk products was less savory and rich than the grass-fed bovines. Moreover, milk from the grass-fed cows contained more omega-3 fatty acids, which are good for the heart, lactic acids, which are probiotic. Farmers are looking to feed with better yields than grass or that are more resilient to droughts, explained Matthew Beauchamp, the fittingly named lead author of the study. Still, those same farmers want to know how supplementing their cows' feed will change the nutritional value and taste, Beauchamp said. One farmer who spoke to Science News affirmed anecdotally this effect is bearing out with other parts of the world too. And so your food is going to be impacted by what your generators are consuming. It's just the way of the world. That said, let's keep on going. The next article is over in Right Protect. $300 million damages ruling for Optis wiped out by federal circuit over jury instructions violating Apple's 7th Amendment rights. Today, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit, or CAFC, issued a precedential ruling in Optis Cellular Technology LLC v. Apple Incorporated, vacating infringement and damages judgments awarded to Optis by the Eastern District of Texas. The CAFC also reversed summary judgment rulings upholding Optis patent claims under 35 U.S.C. 101, found that other claims did not invoke means plus function analysis under 35 U.S.C. 112.6. And ruled that the district court's jury instruction deprived Apple of its right to a jury trial under the 7th Amendment, a constitutional argument that has not fared as successfully for patent owners protecting their intellectual property in administrative proceedings. Quite fascinating that this kind of pivoted in a different direction. So Steve Brackman over at IPWatchdog.com put the article together. The present appeal is part of a multi-jurisdictional patent battle between mobile wireless company Optis, developer of patented technologies incorporated into long-term evolution, or LTE wireless standard, and consumer mobile device giant Apple. So on appeal, Apple challenged the district court's jury instruction as improperly combining liability for each of Optis's 5 patents asserted in the case into a single question on infringement. Infringement liability was not retried by the Eastern District Court, whose first set of jury instructions asked, did Optis prove by a preponderance of the evidence that Apple infringed any of the asserted claims? Because the district court did not break up the infringement question by patent the way that it did for its instructions on patent invalidity, Apple argued that the district court's single question on infringement would allow the jury to find that Apple infringed even if jurors didn't agree on which Optis patents were ultimately infringed. So in this case, they conglomerated everything together, muddied the waters as to what patents were and their value. And so this $300 million is the fact that the jurors' $506.2 million award corresponded exactly to the total given by Optis's damages experts for infringing all 5 patents, similarly gave no confidence that all asserted patent claims were infringed because the district court's infringement ruling could not be upheld. The second damages judgment of $300 million was vacated by the federal court. So essentially, because they muddied the water with the instruction, if everybody agreed that only one of the patents were infringed, that does not equate to compelling Apple to have to compensate Optis with $506.2 million or $300 million or $1 million. It really depends on the value of that particular patent violation, if they even all agree that there was something. So I think that it would have to be broken out individually to get greater fidelity. CAFC also corrects Eastern Texas on model jury instructions for Step 2 of Alice/Mayo. And they go on quite a bit about jury instructions on patent infringement cases that have been presented to the federal court. I think that this actually was troubled by that set of instructions, but I don't recall how the instructions actually get enumerated, if the each side gets to review them and proffer up some amendments, modifications. It just seems harmful to not do that, to not put both sides to collaborate on instructions. I just don't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, let's go on. The next article and our last one for the June 16th episode of Non Sequitur News is your electricity bill is going to go up thanks to AI, even if you've never used ChatGPT. Higher bills for everyday households. Companies are warning customers about price hikes due to data centers. So Aaron Davis over at entrepreneur.com put this article together. And it says your electricity bill could, in fact, CBS reports that electricity prices have risen 4.5% in the last year, according to various reports. The simple fact is that you're not getting a 4.5 raise. So costs are increasing at a rate that you can't even compensate them for. Customers in New Jersey, for example, are fuming over the news that their electric bills could surge up to 20% this summer due to data centers, per a new report in the local patch outlet. But the entire U.S. could soon be affected. Floodlight reports the way that electric companies currently set rates won't work with the unprecedented demand big tech has with AI, and highlights a report from Harvard's Electricity Law Initiative that said, unless the current system changes, U.S. consumers will be the ones to pay billions of dollars for it. Digital automation company Schneider Electric found that electricity demand will increase at least 16% in the U.S. by 2029 due to data centers. And you'll hear about this over and over again. The rise in electricity needs could result in lower system stability, according to a recent report. I mean, at some point, we're going to end up in the same boat that I keep seeing a fellow streamer, Dunkstar, and their AI. They have an AI named Timeless_EXE that also streams. They keep talking about how energy cuts basically take place periodically along with water. I can't imagine that happening in the United States. At least I should say, in my lifetime, I couldn't imagine it happening. But as of late, I do. Anything is possible for profit. And with that in mind, I guess I'm going to have to shut down the time machine because it consumes a ton of power. That'll bring us back to the front page of ohmTown on June 16th, 2025, where I will have to end the show. And we will reset and do the June 17th episode. All right. Might be a little bit, but be sure to follow us here on Twitch and over on YouTube. Download the podcasts. Go over to Patreon and follow us there, and Discord. We got a presence there, and there's a TikTok, and we're pretty much everywhere, but mostly streaming here on YouTube and Twitch and the podcasts. So we got over 2,300 episodes over on YouTube. Go and check it all out. You can always go over to ohmTown.com, sign up or sign in. There's no noise over there. There's no user content, original content published there. It's all from news sources. If you know of a news source that you think would be of value here on ohmTown.com and in the streams, and we've got 7 podcasts, 7 different streams, 6 on the weekends, and 1 daily, 1 Monday through Friday. And that's this show, Non Sequitur News. I'm actually just doing Time Machine episodes because I wasn't available last week, or this week I'm playing catch up for Monday and Tuesday. So when you hear this and it is Monday, now you know that I'm in a time machine and I'm going back in time. Anyway, we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye. Wow, nothing is working properly.